you see, it's funny because it's running it's running the category that it likes to make fun of. Whoa. Hello. Hello, chat. How are we all doing? What a knee slapper. What a classic good one from Woofle D. Anyways, real quick, Citron, thank you for the 3 months tier 1. Ha ha 1. And Marla OMG, thank you for the 46. Wait, no, 47. The Twitch needs to. Thank you for the 47. Oh, you're running chapter 1. That's so cringe. Yeah, Axiom, thank you for the 2 months of Prime Gaming.
Chapter 1? What's next? Chapter 2.
I know, wouldn't that be crazy? Anyways, yeah, we're running chapter 1. Why are we chapter 1ing in 2026? Because I fucking want to, that's why. Listen, my chapter 1 any percent PB is from a fucking ACMRG run. In the big 26, like... having your chapter 1 PB be from an all chapters run in the big 26, like, come on, man. If the first chapter is so bad, why is there a second one? There we go. We found the first funny chapter 1 joke. Claps in chat. But yeah, I just want to just want to get a better chapter 1 time. Like, I have, like, a kind of goal. But it's, like, a bit of a longer term one, but... yes, I would like to beat Shay's chapter 1 PB. It's not on the boards anymore, but I do know it's a 26-18. And I think I am capable of getting that if I, like, actually, like, do serious runs and not, like, run chapter 1 like every other week. Not every other, like every other month. All the time trade per no, actually. All of their times that didn't have video proof because, you know, the Twitch highlight purge were removed. Which was basically all of their Deltarune times. Because they didn't give a shit about the game. I think about what I use it on moving forward. Hi, Oakley. But yeah, I think if I, like, actually, like, you know, lock in, you know, like, if I put my mind to it, I could get a 20, I could beat Shay's PB. But, you know. Sorry, yeah, Sock Titan Titan fight. Yeah. Chapter 1 Titan. Mm-hmm. Alright, anyways. Sorry, but I was not streaming for a few days. I'd been suffering from a lack of energy. It's also, it's just because it's been really fucking gloomy outside. It's been cloudy as fuck the past 3 days. Winter has a, yeah. It's like kind of just a weather thing, really. Like, bleh. It's all blah outside, so. Alright. But yeah, another thing, I also want to do a bit of some single chapter stuff. Because, all chapters is fun, but it's also tiring. So, I need to open the script. But yeah. Gotta do a bit of solo chapters for a bit. I enjoyed running all items, but also it took a lot out of me. A lot of focus in that category, so why not run a category that requires, like, no focus? Just kidding. Yeah, when was the last time I, like, streamed Chapter 1 80%? I usually only do attempts offline. Like, I know I've streamed Chonab a few times, but I cannot think of the last time I actually streamed any percent. Hi Delta, thank you for good luck. Why are you Hello, Magic. Yeah, I gotta get. Let's just do a quick warm-up run, see where this takes me. It's a 24 cheat. That's right, we're gonna cheat. I think another reason why I've also, like, just felt like grinding Chapter 1 is I've been watching Ashley's streams. She's been doing a lot of Chapter 1 grinding, so. Image of Child Fall again. I actually cannot remember the last time I've, like, streamed Chapter 1 any percent. Like, not counting, like, all chapters. Obviously. But, like, just good old solo Chapter 1 any percent. Then a hot minute. Yeah. I definitely have not streamed it since 30 TPPS, which is, like, what removed my main problem with doing Chapter 1 sessions, which was the mashing. Actually passing cliffs in Castleton. Listen, I've been watching Ashley's streams a lot recently, and yeah, no, I can understand that. Shay's 2618, yes, it was, because them running Chapter 1, them running something that isn't ACAP G in the big, during, like, the big 25, like... I'm just doing a warm-up run first. Besides, this PB doesn't have 3 turn because it's fucking an ACMRG run. So I also have like 3 times saving castle. They can do more than just take FG. Hey, they ran SGG like twice. They were decent. It's because they like knew how to menu. Still beat them in. Okay, I actually don't remember if I ever told this story, because this is just a funny, like, how the fuck are you this bad moment. But at GDQ, at SGDQ, so last summer, you know, we were doing like a group chapter 3 all bosses race. Okay. And like, only one person finished. Aces was the only person to finish. But, like, you know, I stopped because I died to, I think, Mantle, probably. And I was just like, alright, I don't feel like continuing. I don't know what happened to Ashley. But, the funniest one was that Shay decided to join the race. You know, the only time they've ever ran solo Chapter 3. They didn't finish the run. And you want to know why? Because somehow, despite, you know, doing regular routing, getting a T rank on Lightner's Live, and eating the moss, they didn't get an S rank on board 2. How? I didn't see like what their point, like what their like different like category ranks were or anything, because, you know, we were sitting at like 5 different computers. But like how? I have never, like, in all of my Chapter 3 all bosses runs, I've never, like, outside of like the one run where like where the Moss glitch wasn't documented, I have not gotten like I have not gotten anything below an S rank on that board in Chapter 3 all bosses. And like the one time I did, it was because of a bug. Why the mod? It was a bug with the 30 TPBS mod, where like the text moves so fast that it never counted the mosses collected. That was bonked. That was patched. That bug ended up being patched because I was the one who found that. I was the one who figured that out. Because, you know, I was practicing for my GD Queer run. Yeah, bad combat rank can drop on board too, but I've gotten like a B rank in combat and still gotten an S rank with the Moss. They said they got a T rank in Lightner's Live, and Ashley was sitting next to them, and she didn't like counter that or anything. So, like, she confirmed that. I remember. games. Yeah, we gotta cross, like, the normal board 2 that I get when I'm running chapter 3 all bosses is like the normal ranks I get is like, you know, A rank combat usually, Z rank points because I don't get any points, and then T rank Lightner's Live. Like their combat, it had to have been their combat. And it's like, this could also be me misremembering, but I feel like I've gotten like a BZT in my ranking and still gotten an S. Because like the boss does a lot of heavy lifting in terms of like that bonus rank. Wait, who said? Like, literally the only thing I can think of is either, like, their combat was just that ass, or, like, they just, like, thought they picked up the Moss but hadn't. But I still think it's funny that, like, you know, failing the easiest S rank in the game. Out of 2, but... Nothing, because it never... Thank you for the good luck, Anani. I'm not gonna knock them on not finishing because Aces was the only person in that race to finish. We all stopped for various reasons. No, I've gotten S rank board, like I've gotten S rank board 2, or at least like A rank board 2 without Moss, which is equivalent, with Pink Ribbon equipped. From like, you know, all chapters weird route. Because, like, getting an A rank without Moss is the exact same thing as getting an S rank with Moss. Because Moss just gives you, like, 1 extra rank. I even get S rank on board, too. Dreamer, you got hit early. That's bad for grazing. Really curious over rarely running Delta and having an enormous swing on Delta in the rolls. I'm doing alright. A little tired, but you know. Yesterday I was just not having it, because I only slept like 5 hours. But today I got a lot more sleep, so I'm up to it. Somehow that didn't absolutely suck. At least they had a dope-ass sandwich. Bro, if I hadn't bonked that last time. Meet the lesbian skip. Did I tell the story about how, like, I realized they might not have even, like, come up with lesbian skip like they say they did? Did I ever tell that story? Because that was something I learned, that was something I realized this week. Well, I say realize as if I, like, didn't already know. We're just, like, realizing what they were, like, trying to say. Yeah, okay. Naming! I guess I'll, like, tell the story because, I think that was, like, after my last stream. That's what happens when I stream for, like, 4 days. But, you know, like, obviously, like, they like to attribute to coming up with lesbian skip, like, all the, like, I've been in, the Deltarune speedrunning community since, like, a few days after, Chapter 2 released. So, when I joined, lesbian skip was already a thing. But I was under the impression that it was just a thing that started in the community because, on, like, you know, like a day one, like, very super early run, someone had, like, watched the, cutscene between Susie and Noelle, not knowing that it was skippable. So people came up with, like, lesbian skip, like, calling it a skip as a joke, because, you know, it's not really actually, like, a speedrun skip. And, like, I just, like... That's just where I had heard the name, is just like, it was just a community joke. And like, I think like, you know, while it was likely that I had heard the name from a Shay stream, like, they never took credit for it on, like, when I, like, first started watching them. And for the longest time, I had just been working under the assumption that, you know, it's like, oh, they didn't make lesbian skip, they just made it popular because of the AGDQ run. Like, that's what I had assumed this whole time. But then, like, you know, recently, especially, like, in, like, you know, obviously, like, last year during the, SGDQ run, you know, they were saying, like, oh, yeah, like, lesbian skip was me, you know, that was my thing. And it's just, like, I was just thinking, like, no, it wasn't. Did you, like, take credit for that? Like, I don't have proof. Like, I don't have, like, definitive proof that it wasn't them. Like, you know, they totally could have come up with the name. I don't have any proof of it. Chat. Explain this to me. I am holding down right now. They don't wanna. Is there a Kecleon in the way? I'm not even playing on demo. This is full game. I play on full game because the inputs are better for me. It's just, you know, the cliff collision is still a little fucked up, despite them trying to fix it. To be fair, I don't use autorun outside of castle, so this doesn't really it doesn't really affect me. Second chapter 1 left. Hey, there was also like the brief stint of trading SGG records with Jack in like March of 2022. That was like one of the last times I remember them actually being competitive. Next game was from April 2022. That definitely wasn't second though at the time. It was probably top 10, maybe even top 5, but I don't think it was second. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. Like I said, I could be entirely wrong. I do not remember. Okay. Like I said, that I misremembered, you know? I just know, like, what was it, like, a month or two later, that was when Ashley beat the 2609 perfect run. Who cares about this category? It sucks. It's crazy to think about, like, Deltarune leaderboards in 2022. It's amazing about, like, how far Chapter 1 has come. Because, you know, I was there for the first 25. You can literally hear my voice in the reaction clip. But, like, God. Isn't top 10 all 25s now? Isn't top 10 chapter 1 90% all 25s? Top 17, okay. Yeah. Like, this category has come a lot in the 3.5 years since the first 25. Jaden animations! Oh, that's dirty, I love it. That's foul. What is 26? Nope. They have not held Chapter 1 record since, well, I want to say probably October 31st, 2018. Maybe they got like something like in the weeks after, but that's the only time they ever held Chapter 1 80% record, as it currently stands. Thank you for the luck. And it's like, that's fine, you know, like, because even for a while, like, even, like, the first few years I watched them and, like, you know, knew them, like, they never really tried to, like, act like they were, like, big Deltarune, you know, for when I first met them, you know? Like, they were very open and was like, oh, yeah, I just don't really care about this game as much as Undertale, you know? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fair. It wasn't until, like, the past, like, 2 years, really, where, like, I started getting, like, okay. Because, like, other than that, there was, like, the occasional isolated incident, you know, like, the free red shit, you know. Really, it wasn't until they blew up on YouTube that it started getting bad. Yep. But surely, though, Ashley at GDQ Deltarune Chapter 5. Surely, I support this. And then Undertale won't get in, true. Sigh. I mean, for me, when it comes to SGDQ, I'm just gonna throw in 3AB, just because, like, I actually have a submission video for it. There. Bang. But that's it, really. I don't want to, like, submit a ton. Mostly because I really want Undertale to get in. Link deserves it. Me too. I also feel for Link. Lily was T-pegging. No, like, also, that wasn't, from what I remember, that wasn't even, like, submitted as a race. GDQ just chose it to be a race. Saying they open 8 Undertales. Okay, to be fair, that's a fire clip. Yeah, 3AB was GD Queer. That was when I ran it. And I was sick during that run. And I don't mean skill-wise. Oh, fuck you. 1 and 9 though, surely. Every time, easy every single time. I read the dust particles or what. But yeah, like I definitely brought this up at the time, like whenever I streamed again afterwards. But I was sick the day of my GD Queer run. Like the only thing that got me during that run was I took some Tylenol, like in like 30 minutes before the run. I've gone back and watched that run a few times, and it's like, yeah, I did pretty good. Or like what was just like, you know, like a fun run. Only massive mistake outside of like the technical problems was I died one time to Mantle, which is like, okay. Dying to Mantle in a marathon. That's completely understandable. And listen, you know what? I got fast cooking. And I think I am the only person so far to have gotten fast cooking at GDQ. What's it like? I think my most impressive save though was Night. Because I mismenued. I mismenued and accidentally used an item on Susie instead of Rude Bustering. And I managed to save it by like raising well enough to just essentially fight Rude Fight every single turn for the rest of the fight. Like, I'm proud of myself for actually, like, being able to save that. You know, it's not like my run wasn't perfect, like, you know, like, I think, like, the thing is, like, you know, with me with this game, obviously, like, I'm pretty, like, overall casual about it. But, like, I don't pretend to be anything more than that. Like, I'm very open about, like, when I, like, don't know a strat. Or, like, explain that, yeah, like, there is a better strat you can do here. Thinking about Minecraft economies. Hi, Jade. But like, yeah, I'm like very open about like not being the best at the game, you know. I don't like, you know, I don't pretend to be better than I am. I'm mid and I'm proud. Yeah. And I think also, like, I've always been very, like, varied with my category choices. Like, that's been a thing since day fucking one. Back when I was fucking, like, 180 follower Andy streaming Chapter 2 MRG to my like, Johnstone friends. I've always been, like, very, like, varied and, like, switching up categories a lot. Johnstonians. So like even in like, you know, the like 1+2 when like, you know, when I was at the point where I had run all the categories, you know, and like that I wanted to, and like was satisfied with a lot of my times, and it was mostly just running the stuff I thought was fun, you know. Even if like I was running a lot of ACAB G at the time, just because I wanted to get a sub 130 and I liked the category, I like would still occasionally throw in other categories, you know. Like, you know, like just talking about last year alone, because that's when I did a lot of Deltarune stuff during the first half of the year. Like, you know, I was running mostly ACAB G, but I would still throw in other shit, you know. Like, I ran Thorny. I had, like, a bunch of, like, I had, like, a little, like, saga with, like, Glitch at the start of the year. I had, like, moments of, like, trying to beat a lot of my 2022 PBs. It's like, you know, I did more than just that, you know? Especially because, like, start of 2025 was, like, when I really started getting back into the game. Because, like, I did not play Deltarune for most of 2024. Because I was, like, I was playing Yellow. For Emilian saying it would be banned. Yep. I think the current solution is fine, with it being, like, unbanned and glitch, but still banned and glitchless. I think that's fine. I think that's perfect. Waiter, more spades on the other fucking side of the battle box. Literally. Yeah, no, it's a long elevator skip type of glitch. So technically not a glitch, but like unintentional. Because unlike on long elevator skip, this actually like is very deliberate in what you have to do. Long elevator skip, I think is fine to be like, because I know in Undertale like long elevator skip is not banned and glitchless, and that's just because it's really easy to do on accident. Because all it is just walking into the elevator and then walking out. It, like, you know, it doesn't make sense to ban it. But with piano skip, it's very deliberate. You have to, like, read the sheet music and then intentionally go back to Gerson Study without watching the piano's cutscene to actually, like, get the time save from it. No, long elevator skip, we're talking about, like, the Switch glitch on the Switch version of Undertale, where, like, you just walk into the elevator, and then when you exit the elevator, you're just taken to the other location. That's all it is. And it's only in the Switch version of the game. Maybe Xbox, I don't know. Who the fuck's played Xbox Undertale in the big 26? Yeah, whatever. I do not care. In the Switch version of Undertale, if you just walk into the elevator and then exit the elevator, you don't have to interact with anything. You don't have to do anything. You just walk in and walk out, you will be on, like, the other side of Long Elevator. Only in the Switch version. I'm missing HHS with Arse and the Big 26. It's because I blocked. Guys, Jockington's about to grow the beard. But yeah, the piano skip saga sure was. And it's like, on some level, like, maybe, like, the devs did just change their mind when they decided to stop doing patches until Chapter 5. But, like, man. It just made things a mess. I feel like part of the reason we thought it would be patched out was because it was just clearly, like, an unintended feature that was accidentally left in. Like, I think the running theory was that, like, it was just implemented, like, before, like, as a way of just, like, getting past the piano before the, animation for that cutscene was implemented. Because that was done by somebody else. Because the animation of Chris playing the piano was done by somebody else, if I remember correctly. And they probably just, like, in testing, forgot that, you know, the sheet music still had that feature. I think the thing is, like, it's not even a debug feature. You know, like, nothing in it is tied to debug mode. I think it was just programmed to do that for testing purposes already. Okay, okay, that's what you meant. Okay. But yeah, like, we thought, like, that would be patched out, which is completely understandable. And it taking a while also made sense because the Deltarune's patch cycle was fucked. because of well, I think it's Nintendo is the one that took 2 weeks to approve patches. So like patches took a lot longer to come out. But like, you know, it was still like, oh my god. And I'm fine talking about this now because, you know, fuck Shay. Shitty person. May have even been lying about this, but... They said they had gotten in contact with a dev, and they said it would be patched in 1.05. And that's why we chose not to ban it. Like, that's why we chose not to unban it, you know? And it wasn't patched. Now, whether or not that was because the devs changed their mind about it, or, you know, like, something else came up and they decided not to do patches. Or who knows, maybe Shay was fucking lying, who knows. Don't really know why they would lie, because they were also frustrated about it. But... you know, after, like, you know... once it was clear, you know, once 1.05 was out, it wasn't patched. And then, you know, once it was clear that they were not going to take 1.05 out of beta, because that was our initial reasoning for holding off on unbanning it once 1.05 was out, was that, like, it's still not out of beta, so, like, can't be entirely sure. We were just like, okay, yeah, unbanned and glitched, also here's 30 Gbps. But yeah, there's no way to know like what the real answer is until like chapter 5, I guess. Also makes sense because, you know, because of how much longer patches take to come out. Because of, you know, Nintendo. I bonked like 15 times during that Voodoo and still got it. Why did I ever think that trick was hard? Free if you get it true. But, you know, ultimately, Piano Skip was unbanned and glitched. And that is probably how it will stay. 1 through 4 AC gets moved to extend. Oh, no, we're just nuking it entirely. Like, we'll probably archive the run somewhere, obviously. But no, it's just getting nuked. Because, unlike 1+2 AC, which is still a valid way of playing the game because the demo still exists, you will not really be able to play 1 through 4. Like, on its own, really. Like, at that point, you'd just be submitting a 1 through 4 portion of a 1 through 5 run. And, you know, this category has also will only have been around for, like, a year. Not even Susan Milk. But yeah, you know, like, 1+2 AC, like, that still has, like, history to it, you know. That was still the the all chapters category for like 3.5 years. So, you know, like, we just moved it to CE. But 1 through 4, like, it's only gonna be around for a year, and isn't really, like, an actual version of the game you can play anymore. So, it's just gonna get nuked. And the runs will probably be archived on, like, a spreadsheet somewhere. Nice clip. It's a good thing we have, like, actually, like, have, like, a template now. Like, we have more of a concrete idea of what we're gonna do for future categories, unlike before 3 and 4 release, where it's kind of like, we don't fucking know what Toby's gonna do. Help me. Good bit. Sure. Yeah, that we're going with that. The runs are going like that. But yeah, having, like, actual concrete plans for, like, what to do with the future of the boards is a lot nicer. I think the only snag currently is Weird Route. Because we do not know how Weird Route's going to shape out, like, especially if, like, there's a lot of significant, unique gameplay. Hotland Isles for 2 hours, and it's so draining. Good ol' Undertale. Maybe it was where actually the boss would be paid. No, actually, that's the easiest part. If all bosses, if, like, Weird Route gets exclusive bosses, okay, all bosses main route, all bosses Weird Route. That's the easiest part. The harder part is just more like an individual category for a chapter Weird Route, because, like, it's very clear now that you have to continue from chapter 2 to do Weird Route. Regular, yeah, no, if it was ACAB Weird Route, then it would just include the Weird Route bosses instead of the main route bosses. Kinda like a Mori. I can't wait for Deltarune all chapters, all bosses combined. So Track-a-Bar TP. No, yeah, currently all Shadow Crystals is our analog for all bosses Weird Route. Unintentionally, but still. And it's still not Weird Route all bosses because you don't fight Mantle, but, you know. It's the closest we have, and I think that's cool. Now, my main thing, I see people bring this up, not even, like, specifically for Weird Route, but just for, like, the game in general. But people love to bring out, oh, what are you gonna do if, like, all bosses are required to beat the game? They won't. It's as simple as that. Toby has gone on record in saying that you will not have to beat chapters multiple times to beat the game. And if you want a Shadow Crystal to count for a save file, and, like, you know, be able to, like, be transferred into a later chapter, you have to have, it has to be on the completion data, because that's what it's checking for. Like, a Shadow Crystal doesn't count until it's saved to the completion data, which requires, you know, beating the chapter. And that's not even getting into, chapter, like, really, 2, 3, and 4. Where it is possible to lock yourself out of the secret boss. Although it's a lot harder in 2. Like, a lot harder to accidentally do. Would be remarkably alienating. Yep. But yeah, Toby has literally said that, like, you will not have to beat chapters multiple times. Now, like, with something like Weird Route, we don't know. Because Weird Route's kind of, like, in its own little bubble of something that, like, you will really only see by replaying the game. So, like, you know, bets are kind of off the table there. How exactly people came with all bosses required to beat the game? The Shadow Crystals. It is because of the Shadow Crystals. The Shadow Crystals have, like, some importance. We know that. So people, like, take that to say, like, oh, the game's just gonna... It's like, oh, you're gonna need all the Shadow Crystals to actually beat the game, you know? I think my least favorite one is, like, oh, you need the Shadow Crystals to unlock Chapter 6... To, like, unlock Chapter 6, you know? Like, no. Why? That's stupid. Yeah, I went too far. It's been a while. overcomplicated. I think people just like want like just like think it can be like you can do cool stuff with the chapter format. I agree with that. It's just, you know. Start early. Start early because I bonked. Doing TAS HHS, oh my god. It's like other games can do cool stuff about like locking like major section of the game by doing like optional side content, you know, like I'm just gonna say it, Silksong, you know? You are not like Act 2 like pretends it's the end of the game in the same way like Hollow Knight does with its normal ending. And you have to go back in and do optional content if you missed it, but you know, I think that's different because that's Metroidvania, where you are encouraged to explore and do stuff off the beaten path, while this is a linear RPG. Already up to a great start. Whatever. I haven't played the last few days, so... Playing so much Undertale feels so boring. There is definitely... I remember when I was constantly switching between Undertale and Deltarune, there was definitely adjustment. It's funny we didn't have a chapter boss run back. I would love that. I would love that so much. Like, I don't know how they would somehow... I don't know how they would get the Titan on that, but I would love that so much. It's like, you know, King, Queen, and Tenna are already here. Tenna doesn't have to be there. You could give him the Mettaton, but, you know, shh, ignore that. But... Jess comes over to make a Titan just for us. Oh, how sweet. The Shadow Crystal boss rush sounds doable. And I would also love that. God. Chapter 1 has improved a lot for me. I just think about, like, literally 2 years ago. Like, before LTS, really. Like, back when I was running survey program, I remember just, like, I could get a 26, but only if I could get HHS. You know? Back in the survey program days. I didn't run on demo at the time because the inputs were... Well, the inputs were the same between demo and survey program, but I didn't know Vuden, so I preferred doing it on survey program, normal Ruden 4. There are enough ways to... Yeah. You can easily bullshit. Not sure whether I run this like a free... I think I just having, like, thought about it. I just turned it on for it had Athy skip, and that's it, really. I haven't really, like, taken the time to, like, learn any of, like, the different stuff. And, like, you know, like, ways to take advantage of it is what I mean. So it would just be, like, straight time loss for me. In that regard. It's something I'm gonna do eventually, but, like, at the moment, I'm fine with what I'm doing. And that is where I stand currently with this type of stuff, because... I guess wrapping it around to what I was talking about earlier in the stream, I'm very open about, like, why I don't do certain things, or, like, what I do and don't do. It's like on a level of, like, stick to what you know, and also just... I'm just doing what I like. I don't pretend I'm better than I am. In fact, I probably undervalue myself a lot more, but that's a different thing. Thank you for the good luck. Something I want to try real quick. a chiller chat. Yeah. I need to practice this real quick. I normally don't go for it in all chapters just because I'd rather get out of chapter 1. Okay. A little inefficient, but I'm just doing this quickly. Yeah, I need to like do more stuff with auto run, because right now it's just my HHS crutch. But that would require like a bit more work currently. Seemed a little awkward there. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, there's a save point. My main thing is I'm just going off of a save I already have. So if I actually wanted to like practice, I'd just open up practice mod. So oh, Safe Rooted Ranger is extremely goated, even if it loses, like, a second. It's perfect for all chapters. And for, like, for me specifically, high-stress Chonab runs. Because, like, I've lost the run to getting a really good 12-turn Jevil and then missing Rooted Ranger. And, like, let me tell you, it hurts. Especially when you're comparing to a PB that doesn't have HHS, which I was at the time. I know, what was it, my 3104? I think was my old Chapter 1 AB PB. I'm pretty sure you can literally hear me audibly say after Jevil, I'm doing Safe Rooted Ranger. Because, you know, that was my, like, best ever Chapter 1 pace out of Jevil. And I was not gonna throw it to Rooted Ranger. But But generally, Safer and Ranger is my all chapters go to. And that was actually a thing I stole from Jack. Because I remember this was like 2023 or sometime in 2022 or 2023. I remember Jack just bringing up Safe Route and Ranger for all chapters. I was just like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I should just do that instead of just resetting runs in chapter 1. Oops, no Susie targets. I will say this though, I did promise Ashley I would start doing more Arch stuff in chapter 1 once I got my new PC. So, really I can start doing it anytime. I would just need to actually sit down and practice a lot of it. No way, I golded by a frame or whatever. Stand for Auto Run Stutter Step. The Stutter Step part is a reference to an Earthbound strat, if I remember correctly. But turn on Auto Run. Auto Run preserves your menu. A general thing in demo and full game chapter 1 is that when you open and close the menu, enemies kind of stutter in place for a bit. Auto Run makes it so that you don't lose your speed when you open the menu. Put 2 and 2 together, you can use Arch to do faster encounter skips. Or make previous encounter skips easier. It basically made demo runnable. Okay, yeah. I knew it was an Earthbound reference. I knew that much. Dang. I never sing for the good luck. Yeah, ours is the reason demo became runnable. Runnable. Yeah. it ran. It's new. It happened. But yeah, I remember the days where demo was like the version of the game where you couldn't get HHS. Like, it was just expected you missed HHS in all chapters runs. Sigh. Where's my fucking Susan milk? Oh, I remember with a demo for a while, even after Arse was found and you could actually do HHS, in ACAB-G, missing HHS was routed in to have enough money to buy Mecha Saber and Auto Axe. Then it was found out you could still do 5-turn Queen with Brave Axe. And now you don't even need to buy weapons, you can just use Spooky Sword. Somebody heal prayer me? No. That's slow. I don't want to lose a turn. God, I'm gonna miss the days of all chapter run clips where someone would just randomly fucking get HHS. Nothing will ever recreate the moment at SGDQ 2023 when I fucking got demo HHS on the practice room computer. During I can't remember if it was like before a group chapter 1 race or during the group chapter 1 race. I got demo HHS on the fucking practice room computers at SGDQ 2023, and the run was a 28. Because it's fucking practice room computers and missing like every other skip, really. How did it happen again? Sure. I think one of my inputs is probably getting dropped. Probably like, starting too early. Input delay in random ass places for no reason. Truth nuke. Yeah, in fucking Potato Rune, I love the joke with Thrash Machine where there's just like seconds of fucking pause after selecting a Thrash Machine head. Like after selecting a Thrash Machine choice. There's like 2 seconds between inputs. like Kingdom Hearts Collaborate. True! Somehow, through some game maker fuckery, that would happen. It would be more resource intensive in the game. True, yeah, it would. Google Stadia, the new meta? Can you get 25 on my Amazon Fire TV? Alright, for anyone in here who, like, you know, has been actively watching Deltarune speedruns or is a Deltarune runner, were you here? Like, I just want to know who was here, but like, who was here before Door Warp or before like consistent Chris death? Who remembers those days? You know, very tiny bit before Chris death and Door got tired of it. I remember when Door Warp was found. I was sitting in my car about to go to work when the fucking emergency stream, for those who know. And then work ended up being canceled. So I got to go home early. And I spent the rest of the night in a call with Ashley, messing with Door Warp and routing all recruits glitched. Because I knew no one else fucking would. Oh no, Shay has nothing with Door Warp. They have like no claim on it. It is still tainted though. Because it was a huge skip. I think they were like, they were keeping track of the conversation. I know that much, which is why they went live. But they were not the first one to do it. That was Rich Connor GM, I'm pretty sure, was the first person to do it RTA. But the reason it's tainted is because the tech that was discovered that ended up leading to the trick, you know, being finalized, was discovered on accident by the creator of Undertale Bits and Pieces. Tugs on collar. Yeah, Door Warp has layers. I think like the creator of Bits and Pieces had found like the movement glitch on the Switch version with the 400 Bagels cutscene on accident. I think that was what it was. Which I think led to, like, you know, that stuff being investigated and then a Door Warp being found. Nor warping to a jail cell. But yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, Rich Connor GM was the first person to do Dual Warp RTA. After it was like discovered RTA, that's when Shay went immediately live with the emergency stream. I just love that when I got home early and got to spend time in call with Ashley doing runs with Dora. I just remember choosing the route all recruits glitch just because I fucking knew nobody else would. So yeah, I have a particular fondness for Chapter 2 All Recruits Glitched because of that. Because I was the one who routed it. It's definitely my biggest contribution to this game. Now you target Susie. Okay. Yo, Olivia, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you. Appreciate the support. But yeah, Door Orb was a crazy day to be a Deltarune speedrunner. And then 1.09 happened, 2 months later. Not even 2 months, I think. I think it was literally, the end of February was when 1.09 happened. So, a month and a half. Music Carrying the Weight of Life from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It took over a year to discover second symptoms, yeah. My favorite part about... I'll tell this after King if I remember. So I'm not distracted. Bang. I think this is a PB. Cool. No Susie Depp. I thought you guys... Okay, so the funniest thing about Second Sanctuary skip, for me at least, was at the time, obviously, this was like still within the first week, so we were still setting up the we were still setting up the leaderboards. We were still trying to figure out what to do. We had just made the decision earlier that, like, okay, we're not going to split Chapter 3. There's not enough currently. And then I think this was about 30 minutes before Second Sanctuary skip was posted. In VOD chat, Vinta said, yeah, I don't think there's enough in Chapter 4. I think we're not going to split it. I think this was like around like 30 minutes to an hour before Second Sanctuary skip was discovered. Because I remember going in the mod chat, replying to that message and saying, you're going to want to see this. Yeah, about that. To say that again when Chapter 5 comes out. True. No glitchless split. Hi, Cat. Welcome in. Just in time for a PB. Also, I will say this about Chapter 4. I think it is, like, the only chapter that, well, so, out of 2 chapters that have a glitchless split, I think it's the only one where I actually kind of enjoy glitched more. Helps that, also bang. Helps that, the wrong warps are, like, in understandable locations. Like, the screen transitions are, like, in understandable locations. Kucher Bop, yeah! Notice how easily Kucher submitted to print. Some fucked up Gasker Backrooms place. I've talked about this on stream before, definitely, like, extensively, actually. But my, like, dumb, this will never happen idea for Deltarune is in Weird Route, there being a moment where you actually have to do a wrong board. It's never gonna happen, but it would be so cool. Delaware Highlands. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. There's no way it's going to happen. But I just think it would be cool. Or hell, even like some Easter egg hidden behind a wrong warp. Kind of like the hidden bench in Section 2 of Delta Traveler. I think also in Section 3, you could wrong warp into one of the chases, and then you could get a special Gasser cutscene. I feel like I remember that. Now, you know what? To celebrate, since I've done my time. Let's just do a celebratory Chonab, you know, for fun. I want to devil the family or whatever. So my throat's kind of dry. Hold on. Love me some water. Pluie check. Oh wow, that was actually kind of close. Society, if you didn't have to manually mash these first 3 text boxes. Kind of funny. I kind of forgot that I had I got a 30. It was like literally like right before I got this PC. It's like I think like a few days before. Like I think Chonab was the last stream on my old computer. God, it's funny to think about Chapter 1's last save point being right before King. Because it's not even the worst example anymore. Chapter 4, last save point being before the fucking tower climbs. 20 minutes. It makes sense, though. There's no other place to put a save point without locking you out. People complain, but it makes sense. Plus, I 4 turn. Usually if you see like +6 or if you see like a +6 out of the first split or like 6 seconds lost in checkerboard, there's really only one place it can come from. There's really like you just know what happens. It's either you missed in the first play you missed 3 turn, and then for checkerboard, no Susie death. Going back to John, GG on the food. Dude, it's just easy. I can't believe I was gaslit for years into thinking that Wooten was a hard strat. I have never done Save Wooten 4 in my entire life. The one time I tried it in a practice, like when I first started running this game, I missed it, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. Kasai. Oh yeah, I got second turn maybe. Oh hey, 2 HP. Where's my fucking Susan milk? This is homophobia. Kasai. I almost pulled an Oakley. I like barely hit that fucking left key. Some more chapter 1 runs. Bye. God, I love being immortal. You know what? You know, just to throw more, just to continue throwing them under the bus or whatever. Shay never knew about the 2 HP strat. Even though I've brought it up multiple times. There we go. Cooking? No, that's in chapter 3. That's knight behavior. Wait, but the knight killed Ten. Susie also attacked. Wait, true. True. Entirely good. I don't know, thank you for the good luck. Yeah, 26-28. It kind of just happened. No Susie death, by the way. One X soon. I can get a 1X, I think. I mean, I still remember, like, not even a year ago, I thought, like, a 2X in Chapter 1 and 80% would be my limit. Not even a year ago, I thought that. I mean, obviously 30 TPBS does a lot to help. One, because it means I can actually, like, run Chapter 1 for extended periods of time. But, you know, I've also just gotten better at the game, I guess. It's funny how I keep getting times that like times that I thought like I couldn't really achieve without a ton of practice, and then I get them without Susie death. You know what, guys? I'm gonna say it. I like Chapter 1. Death. Because I'm just saying, I like Chapter 1. I will defend Chapter 1 with my life from people on Twitter who think it sucks. No game with Jevil in it can be bad. No game can be bad. Evil Shigeru Miyamoto. You think, wouldn't evil Shigeru Miyamoto just be Yuji Naka? Oh my god. You know what I find funny? Across all of Chapter 1 and all the speedruns I've done of this and like all the other stuff I've done, I've never had to use the warp to the start of Forest. Okay. Just put them all outside the box, please. Jack! Wait, double jack! Let's go! Phew. Run ended with no ketchup and mustard osplits. Mayo splits. got scared for a second. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it because I was about to go into Jova. I'm Arvin. Ketchup and mustard splits. Bang! I think this is another PB. So what will it be, fellas? Ketchup or mustard? I always think about the fucking Friend and ERAM edit of that. No Susie Death, by the way. Why is ERAM so cute? I mean, what? No, there's a green split! No! Weird looking stoplight. The run very fast button. Yeah, hold on, let me just cheat real quick. How does it do it? Four-turn Lancer. No Susie death. The goat. PB's back-to-back. I can milk this. I can get a back-to-back PB feature on YouTube and clickbait the hell out of it. I can't fucking believe I got a double PB. That's crazy. Back-to-back. It's the back-to-back part. Because I was only going to do the one run. Actually, what? The goat, or whatever. Alright, hold on. I am interested, though. Hold on, where is my SRC? Deltarune. Does this move me up at all? No, it does not. Absolute cinema. What about 80%? I know I'm moving up on 80%. Moving up to right above Kucher. I love the legend. The true Lancer fan club motif. True! Oh no way, I have a new boost ready to be used on SRC. That's crazy. Prophecy Slav. Okay. Oh, holy shit. Track? Cookie Apocalypse track? Wait. Alright, let's go raid Cookie. She's running some track, everybody's favorite Deltarune category. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!